well, then I got to be willing to grow. I got to be willing to improve and renew myself. Now, one of the words that most people fear more than anything in the world is change. It's like automatically when you hear the word, you're like pulling a little bit back. It's something that you're afraid of being injected with. Something that we have this voice inside of our head. Change? Do I need to change? I'm pretty good the way I am. So someone is constantly whispering in your ears, saying, is that really so? Do you really need to work so hard? Who are you to believe that you can make it to those heights anyway? Is it that important? But I really do believe that if you are serious about growing your business, and personally, I don't see any reason why I should not push through. I'm not on this planet to just exist. I have too many dreams, too many things I'd like to create, too many people I'd like to impact and help. Well, the only thing I can then focus on then is for me to grow and get 10 times better than I am today. How I think, how I communicate, how I brand myself, how I present the products, how I enroll more people personally, how I get people started, how I duplicate, how I develop leadership in the entire team, how I grow my own leadership in character, in hunger, in learnability. Every single part of me have to grow. How I inspire people, how I direct in individual conversations as well as from stage. How I create a larger following. How effective I am with my time. How I can delegate. Come on, somebody. How I innovate. How I control my daily input and education on a continuous basis. How I develop better systems and tools for the entire organization. How I continue to attract the right people into Zenzino in every part of the team. And how I continue to lead by pointing in the direction of our vision. Now, I think the same counts for you. You haven't been here during these 3 days to sit, settle, or cement yourself in your situation, whether it's good or it's bad. You're here to grow. You're here to renew yourself. You are here to create your transformation. So what I'd like to use a little time on here in this final session that I'm going to do is to talk about 4 principles that I've incorporated in my life over the past decade to create my transformation. And I also do believe that they're going to be equally important for me moving forward. Now, I don't expect this to be like a revolutionary aha for you, because most of it has already been shared from stage. But one of the things that I want you to think through, when you listen to these principles, ask yourself this question: are you living these principles? Because knowing and doing is very, very different. Physics says your reality is created by your perception. Neuroscience says your brain controls your biochemistry. Religion says you are created in the image of your creator. And spirituality says life doesn't happen to you, it happens from you. Now, one of the things that I firmly do believe is that everything starts with your focus. And when you add your attention, so focus plus attention is what is going to equal your creation. After working with a lot of people over the years, let's go back one to the first one. After working with a lot of people over the years, I've seen that most people tend to lose on step number 1, their focus, what they want. So a good question to ask yourself is, what are you thinking about most of the time? What you want or what you don't want? What you're grateful for or maybe what you're not so happy with? Now, those are important questions to consider. What is your dreams? What is your goals? What is your aspirations? What do you manifest to be the truth in your life? Now, a lot of people are very vague when it comes to these things, but I do believe that you got to be specific. Like already talked about yesterday, there is something magical that happens when the pen meets the paper and you write down your goals and you get specific. It's like the pen and what you're writing is speaking to your soul. Do you remember that he said that? Come on, somebody. We got to wake up here, huh? So you got to be specific. Now, I think that for your results to change, you got to change. You can't become something that you're not yet. You have to change first. A lot of people that I meet, they say, well, when I find love, then I'm going to feel fulfilled and very happy. Well, I think the opposite should be your focus. First, start loving yourself. Then you're going to feel fulfillment and happiness, and then you will attract love into your life. Now, I can't even remember how many times I've heard, I just need to get my check up to this level, because then I can recruit this person or those people. Now, my son, or our son, Gabriel, he very often, unfortunately, says to me, Mama, stop living in your box. Get out of your box. Probably because we've been telling him that a lot of times, right? Now, I do understand that there is a lot of people that want proof. They want physical proof that things are going well for you, or this business can make money for you, right? But I also do believe that if you think outside of that box, there is also other people in the community that have a higher check that you can use as examples. And first and foremost, and this is very true, because when we got started with Zinzino, there wasn't really any good examples, right? There was a lot of losses in our company, major losses in our company. We had to raise money. There was so many things going on, and there was no proof. So the only thing we had was ourselves. It was our mind. And where we said to ourselves, well, that's going to be the reality. We're going there. You got to follow our vision, because I'm absolutely confident that this is going to be the reality some years from now. So you work on your mindset. You work on your posture. You manifest it. And eventually it becomes the truth. And people follow your posture, not your check. You've probably heard Orion and my story of our struggle to become parents. And you heard Andy and Shannon's story yesterday. I was sitting here crying. So powerful, so extraordinarily powerful. And I can say that, there was a lot of people, including our family, or family close to us that probably thought that we should just give up on that dream, that it would be better for our mental sanity. And no wonder, because our statistics were horrible. It was totally horrible, right? Miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. I can keep on going talking about miscarriages a long time because I had a lot of miscarriages, right? And I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember I was laying in our bed, and I had just lost, this life inside of my tummy. And honestly, I was crying my eyes out. I was so sad. But then it was like I just heard this voice say, "Stop it! Don't stay in that pit. Look up. Be mindful of where your eyes is." So from that point on, I started to praise God for the children we would be blessed with. I was a mom in my mind before I became a mom in real life. Now, when we got started with Zinzino 19 years ago, and like I said, it was a constant battle, right? Because one thing is that you're going to recruit partners and you're going to bring customers, but another thing was that the company was constantly lacking money, right? And Orion was a hero calling around to different people trying to raise money for this company. He is the actual hero when it comes to that part, I can tell you that. He's magnificent when it comes to pouring out and making people believe in the vision. But anyway, I remember at one point we were just so low, and then here yesterday it became a long recognition session, but it was beautiful for the people coming on. But one of the people and the couples that came on all the way towards the end, our elite presidents, Peter and Pernilla. Well, I can say that at one point they just invested everything that they had and more. Everything. And I can say that meant more to us than anything else. They rescued the company. Now, there is also other people in this room here, like Lars-Vidar, where are you? He is here somewhere, I know. But he got this young guy, from the center of Norway. He just decided, I believe in this company. So we got his whole family to invest so much into Zinzino. Now today, they're very rich because of that investment. So Lars-Vidar became the hero of the family. But again, so extraordinarily important. Now, there is so many people that we should thank in that regard. But I remember, if I go back to my story here, it was a little sidetrack. 19 years ago, we were working so hard to put people into those chairs. And at one point, we put on, I think we actually called it the first leader school. It was like 58 people in that room, and we'd been working so hard to fill those chairs. And I remember we had Øystein Hjerme on stage, and then Orion and I, we were standing a little bit in the back there, and then I leaned over to Orion and I said, honey, this is the start of our $1 billion company. It's so easy to get caught up into just doing. And please don't get me wrong. Of course we got to do. We got to focus on action, because if you don't have action, you're not going to create your dreams into reality. But success starts in your mind. Now, most people They don't value their mind before they see someone who's lost theirs. But you will always be the sum total of your most dominant thoughts. Choose those thoughts wisely. Choose your words wisely, because your words eventually become your future. Number 2, you are not your boss. Your vision is your boss. Now, some of you are like, well, that's, not really in alignment here. That sounds a little crazy. Well, bear with me. One of the big marketing messages in our profession is freedom. Now, if I ask the majority of the people here in this room, why did you start with Enzino? Most of you are going to say, because I want to be free. I don't want a boss. I want to travel. I want to choose whom I'd like to work with. And I want to be financially free. And I think that's great. Now, freedom is a human right. And it not, but in this world that we live in, it should not be taken for granted. Now, I have been blessed to grow up in Norway. We have democracy, freedom of speech. But I'm not naive. I do understand that the reason I have this privilege is because someone paid the price before me. And I sometimes do believe that entrepreneurial freedom can at times be a prison if you don't know the process you have to go through to actually create your freedom. Now, most people that start out with Enzino, they're not entrepreneurs when they get started. And I very often see that if your number one goal is freedom, that is very often also what's going to hinder you to get to your goal. Because in the process, you're going to get complacent. You're going to give yourself a lot of time off. And when you think at first that now I've achieved the freedom, well, that's when your business drops. Because now your business lacks focus and attention, and then nothing is going to happen. Over the years, there's been a lot of things in this business that I've found hard. I can say that in the beginning when I was going to come on stage and make speeches, I was terrified. It was like I wanted to vomit every single time. And I was even more terrified the first times that I was going to do my talks in English. Sometimes it's so confusing to speak in another language than you think. There's been so many times where I've felt totally stupid. You feel stupid when you don't necessarily find the right words, and still to this day I can have meetings and suddenly I don't remember exactly the right English word and I feel stupid. But courage always comes before confidence in every single thing that we do. There's been times where I've found it to be very hard to contact certain people on my list. It's been hard in the beginning, it was really hard to get on a personal development growth plan and read and listen every single day and find time for it. It was hard to follow up with people for the 10th time. And it's been hard at times to build events like this, right? Work day in, day out, little sleep, give our event team and our tech crew a magnificent round of applause. I don't know how much sleep you've got, but it's not very much. But the point is that when your philosophy is that you're not your boss, but your vision is your boss. Or I've actually thought about it this way for myself. I've always said to myself, I don't work for myself. I work for my business that works for my vision. And when I don't work for myself, I work for my business that works for my vision. I'm willing to overcome what feels hard today, because hard is just a feeling. It's not a fact. It can be moved. And I know that what feels hard for a season is going to be easier tomorrow because I build competence. Now, if you only work for yourself and your freedom, like I said, I think that's going to hinder you to really reach out and achieve your ultimate purpose in life. But when you're willing to go through that process, when you're willing to go through that transformation through hard, and not necessarily only look at yourself, but look at who's around you, well, that's when you truly create the freedom that you sought out for. Are you getting something from this?
Yes.
So what is stopping you in your business to reach your ultimate desire? What is your business asking you to do that you don't feel like at the moment? Maybe it is to wake up a little bit earlier. Maybe it is to study harder. Maybe it is to put prospecting on your agenda and have a goal like Marco talked about in his brilliant opening yesterday. And I can relate so much to Marco, but a lot of people, they ask me the same, Marco, why are you so inspired? How do you keep that inspiration constantly? And I'm like you know, I don't think about being inspired. I have my list. I check off my to-do list. That gives me energy. So the key is, what do you have on your list? What is your daily method of operation? Maybe your business is asking you to recruit 10 contacts before Christmas. Maybe that's what you're going to do. Maybe you're going to go on a 90-day run and create that 90-day run together with your team, where you are the leader that do what you tell all of the other people to do. Now, the key is this, that when you know what is stopping you and you act on what is stopping you, that will be your transformation. A couple of weeks ago, we were in Spain, and we had this beautiful time together with our ambassadors and leader council members on this gorgeous hotel. And this property was just absolutely mind-blowing, especially there was this pool area, right? Gigantic pool area. It was like picture perfect if you saw it on social media, and it was like that in reality as well. Grass surrounding these big, beautiful pools, sunbeds, and we had all of the hotel for ourselves. So much fun. But there was one thing that was a bit troubling, especially for our son Gabriel. Because for some reason, around this pool area, there was a lot of wasps. And if there's one thing that Gabriel hates more than anything in the world, it's wasps. Because he still remembers the terrifying story when he was 2 and he stepped on a wasp and he hurt his foot. So whenever there is wasps around, he acts like he's in the middle of a tornado. So one of these days when I saw this all play out, and believe me, nothing bad happened to our son. We're helping him work through that fear, so everything is going to go well. But one of the days when I watched this, I just thought to myself that this reminds me about how easy it is to lose your mind when you get distracted, or when you're stepping into a new season, or when you have to learn something new and go through a process of change. Now, there is absolutely no doubt that The last couple of years has been, at times, a little bit of a stretch for Orion, for myself, for Dag, for some of our leaders that are building globally, for a lot of people in our corporate team that are doing an absolutely mind-blowing, crazy good job at opening countries. Give them a hand. Like I said before, we've been increasing with I think maybe 3 to 5 markets a year. That's a lot. We've been upgrading with a lot of products, and there's been acquisitions and a lot of new stuff. But the reason why we act on all of these changes is because of our vision. And we believe that what feels hard today is going to feel like a morning walk 2 years from now, because in the process, we will be competent. So you might be new here in this room today to Zenzinar, and maybe the transformation that you got to go through here right after this event is to clarify your reason for doing Zenzinar, so that you have a clear vision, something that you can lead with. Maybe it is also that you have to develop the simplicity and the knowledge around how to present the products, how to present the opportunity, so that you own the message, as well as also creating activity in your team so that you create the fast start within the upcoming weeks. Now, for those of you that already have been part of Zenzinar for a while, and you already have a lot of activity going on in your team, maybe some of you have a low conversion rate. So maybe what you need to focus on is to upper your skills in certain areas of your business. Maybe it's in the beginning of a presentation. How do I find someone's need? How do I ask the right question? How do I connect the call to action with the need analysis? Now, there could be different things, but you have brilliant people around you. Ask them how and what you need to grow into. Now, for some of you, you already know exactly how to recruit yourself. It's just that you struggle with duplication in your team. So maybe for you, it's about developing systems, getting people to follow a clear path. Maybe it is to focus a little bit more on relationship, because relationship is always going to be the glue that holds people in the business long enough until they break through. Now, I also do know that there are people in this room that have just this gigantic potential on your inside. But for some reason, you've been in the dark a little bit. You've been hiding a little bit in the dark for many, many years. And maybe this is the time that you truly step into leadership. Maybe you've been comfortable leading a little bit from the behind. You've been pushing other people to the front. Maybe this is the season where you step into your greatness and let the light shine on you. Now, throughout a life, throughout a career, there's going to be distractions. There will be new seasons. There will be growth. We like growth, right? There's going to be challenges. There's going to be setbacks. But you have a choice. You can choose to sit, settle, or cement yourself. Like I said, I think that's not my quote. That's actually Tim Story's quote. I've been listening to Tim's stories, so that becomes a part of my vocabulary, right? So you can sit, settle, or cement yourself in those things, or you could push through. And that is a choice. That is a decision that you and only you can make. A couple of years ago, I forget to push my slides. A couple of years ago, I got a phone call from a man who said, well, we talked about different things, and then he said, oh, Hilde, do you remember how much fun it was when we went on those diamond trips to South Africa, and we were this tight little group, and everyone knew each other's? And then he continued, and he said, and I absolutely loved when we went to your house after every event, and before the leaders' school, you cooked. And you made food for us. And Orion, he was the most brilliant barbecue chef. And of course, I remember those times, and I loved to be hands-on with everyone in our team, right? And I've never been the best chef, honestly. My kids do see me cook every day, Ria. Not the first time when you're 16. I love that story from stage yesterday, Christopher. But even though I don't necessarily like to cook, I liked to cook for my team, right? But at one point, our team grew very fast, and we had to find new ways to kind of reinvent what was fun and to create an attractive community. Leadership had to be duplicated, and responsibility had to be divided within different teams. Now remember that there are several reasons why people start in your business. Now some start because they're very passionate about the mission that we're on. We want to create health. We want to bring people back into balance. Some people are starting because they just want to be a part of an attractive community where they feel uplifted, where they grow, where they are pushed to be a little bit better every time they show up. Now, some people, they want to be a part of this because you want to have an extra income, right? 500 euros extra a month can mean a significant amount of difference in a lot of people's life. And you are as welcome to be a part of this community if that is your ultimate goal. Now, some people, you want a career and you want to build your business around your life instead of a life around your business. Some people want to travel. Some people would like to just be a part of something that is bigger, where they get the praise and the recognition when they've done the job well done. Now remember, there are so many different reasons of why people start, why this is attractive for somebody. And I think very often it's easy to ask, what makes it attractive for me? But the leader also asks, what makes it attractive for them? Now, I remember when we had our director trips in the beginning, or diamond trips actually in the beginning, and there was this wild idea, let's do this theme party. Well, I'm a very red, choleric, dominant personality. I don't necessarily love to get dressed up in all of these costumes. So I really had to go through a little bit of a change in this process. But what I saw was that when we did the theme parties, people loved it. People were excited. It became like a mark, every single part of the director trip. So I had to change. Orion was the same. He had to step into a new Orion on these theme parties. So it's not just what is attractive for you, it's what is attractive for the team. But remember this, you should never sacrifice growth because somebody still wants to live in the past. And unfortunately, this man that gave me this phone call, he's not here today. Was it because he didn't know what to do? No. Was it because he didn't have the skills? Absolutely no. I do believe that the reason was because he wasn't willing to reinvent himself. So even though I absolutely loved to be hands-on with every single person that we traveled with, and I also want to say here that one of the hardest things for me sometimes when we have this big group is that sometimes, you run past people and you don't know exactly what rank they have, how long they've been with us. And if I've been running past you during this weekend and I haven't greeted you, I'm truly sorry. This is actually a little emotional for me because we're at the size now where I don't know all of our diamonds and the names of our diamonds or directors or crowns or even royal crowns. So I feel terrible if I run past you without greeting you, without congratulating you, without thanking you for doing this absolutely incredible job that you're doing. We could not do this business without you. But in spite of me loving being hands-on, I still want to say that it is even more fun to travel to Thailand now with 500, 600, 700, I don't know how many people we're going to be. And as we're there, I also do know that each and every one that are part of that trip are either in a process or already have transformed their life because of the Zinzino community, the Zinzino opportunity. So you want to ask yourself, what can you do to create an attractive community? A while back, I watched an interview with Elon Musk. And the journalist asked, so you're the CEO of all of these companies. How do you make it happen? How do you continue? How do you do all of this? How is it possible? What's your key? And his answer was brilliant. He said, I work on improving my decisions with 1% every single day. Now, how much change can you create in your life if you're willing to work 1% and become a little bit better on those decisions? I'm not talking about new decisions. I'm talking about making the decisions that you've already made better. How can you grow? How can you transform over time? Well, we all do know that transformation is going to be the outcome of making such a commitment. So if you ask yourself, and remember, this is coming from a man who started he started his entrepreneurial journey shy of 30 years ago. Today is the wealthiest man on the planet. So how can you work on your mindset and be 1% better every single day? Maybe it is so that you devote yourself to read a book every single week or every single month. You add that into your agenda. Maybe it is so that when you wake up in the morning, you are still a little bit. You count from 10 or from 100 to 0, and then you start to think about, you visualize all of the different things that you're going to achieve, all of the different things that you want to attract into your life. You're strengthening then your muscle. You're strengthening your brain. You're getting yourself ready for that breakthrough. Now, what would happen if you acted a little bit more? 1%. You worked on being 1% better on solving those things or getting in action and doing the different things that you don't feel like doing. That is hard. How would your business transform? How would your business transform if you really decided to push through? And how would the community and the team feel if you listened to them and you decided to become one of those teams that created this magnificent, attractive communities where people felt uplifted, rewarded, seen? How can you recognize people better? How can you make sure that they feel valuable? It's all about that 1%. 1% difference can mean a lot over time. Now, I do believe that the upcoming months is going to be some months of transformation. So like I said in the opening, and that Orion has said several times, what are you willing to do to transform your life over the next 15 months? I urge you to be bold. I urge you to think big, because I really do believe that this is the time to step into a new you. Thank you.